Alright, we have one more sorcerer to talk about
Old
tonight.
but a goodie.
And I've actually played this one. It's a Storm Sorcerer.
So, right off the bat, thematically wise, Storm Sorcerer hits it out of the park. I love the idea of a person just infused with the power of the storm.
Who doesn't want to play Storm from X-Men?
Storm
really?
from X-Men. I mean, you even get a little bit of Thor. I mean, Thor isn't really a sorcerer, but like that whole...
The lightning.
Lightning and thunder.
Lightning!
That just came out. It's
Yeah.
the god of thunder, not the god of hammers. I love it. That whole idea of just like lightning kind of like shooting off of you like Raiden from Mortal Kombat. Oh, that's cool. And you get that. So this is a reprint from Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. They've already made it official. I actually prefer the Unearthed Arcana version of this. And if I had someone that wanted to play a Storm Sorcerer at my table, I would let them use that one. Because they get something that, well, the other one doesn't, but the Favored Soul or Divine Soul does. They get extra spells that aren't on their spell list.
And it makes sense for them to get more spells.
I'm a Storm Sorcerer! Lightning! Oh! I don't know that spell. Oops.
I mean, honestly, there aren't enough lightning or thunder type spells for the sorcerer if you're not going to give them extra spells.
It's true. I mean, at first level, Divine Soul gets the entire cleric list that they can pull from.
So why not give them the entire druid list?
Yeah, a lot of these spells that are on this list are on the druid list, and like, part of me doesn't like that design idea because I don't like it in the Divine Soul. But like, if one's
you're
gonna
do it
have
for
it,
one class, why not the other classes? Why favor the Divine Soul?
I prefer how to have it in Unearthed Arcana.
I try to be funny.
Yeah. And you know they've done this with other classes where they get a little spell list. It's tied to level or spell level, and they get it when they can cast those spells. And it's bonus spells. They either know them outright or they can choose them, and they are their class's spells for the purpose of their casting.
Paladins get that. Some warlocks get that.
Clerics get it.
Clerics get it.
Druid of the Land gets it.
It makes sense for it to stay with the Storm Sorcerer.
I guess they thought it was too powerful, but having seen these new classes, it's
not nearly as powerful as the Divine Favor, Divine Soul.
Let's actually look at what's in the UA and what's in Xanathar's. So, the first thing you get at first level, and I like this, it makes sense, they call it Stormborn. Of course, they call it Stormborn in the UA, and they call it Windspeaker. I don't know why they call it Windspeaker in
You speak
Xanathar's.
wind? It basically gives you the ability to read, write, and speak Primordial.
I like Stormborn better. That's a better name for it.
Mm.
Windspeaker kind of, makes you think of, like, I can speak, what do they call it? Auran?
Which it does specify the dialects that entails with Primordial.
It's nice. It's like, there's 4 languages you actually know. And it's nice, bonus language is always nice. This one is an obscure one. It might come up in your game, and it
never came up in our game, but I kept track just in case.
Yeah. Every time the DM's like,
you don't know this language.
You don't know, and you're like, is it Primordial?
No. Aw, man.
All right, so also at first level, you get something called Tempestuous Magic. And it's mostly the same. They just cleaned up the language. It's nice. It's one of the best abilities that they have. Every time they cast a spell of first level or higher, they can... Does it take a bonus action? Yeah, it takes a bonus action.
A bonus action to fly away.
The magic just lifts you off your feet and takes you away from danger. It's nice.
Within 10 feet.
That's really handy because sorcerers are kind of squishy.
And it specifies that it does not provoke opportunity attacks, which is very important. Yeah.
So you can do your damage and get away. It's one of my favorite parts of this class. And it's a very strong first level ability.
If you think about it, if you are trying to run and you're in a corner backed up by somebody, you're casting that spell at disadvantage to get away.
That's true.
That's an important thing to remember.
But then you can use Quicken Spell and cast again without disadvantage and get away some more.
I mean, that's true.
Sorcerers, man. All right. So let's move on to the 6th level ability, Heart of the Storm.
Love the title of that.
Yeah. Do they call it that in here too? They do. So it's the same, but this goes back to our spell choices. There aren't a whole lot of spells that this really applies to. So let's just read what we got here. You gain resistance to lightning and thunder damage at 6th level.
Nice.
That's actually pretty amazing and huge. A 6th level ability gives you resistance. That's like paladin worthy. Granted, you can't extend that to other people, but that's pretty powerful. In addition, whenever you start casting a spell of 1st level or higher that deals lightning or thunder damage,
that's the catch.
Stormy magic erupts from you. This kind of plays in that whole idea of this magic kind of like bursting out of you. This eruption causes creatures of your choice that you can see within 10 feet of you to take lightning or thunder damage, which is interesting. They say choose each time this ability activates. So I guess you could technically cast Thunder Wave and do lightning damage?
That doesn't really make sense.
Doesn't make sense, but that's how it's written, because you choose each time.
But the damage is equal to half your sorcerer level, so it's not a lot of damage. It's handy if you're being surrounded by, like, undead or something.
Yeah, and then Thunder Wave is awesome, because you can hit everything and everything again.
However, you do not have much access to lightning or thunder damage type spells. And I know a lot of people out there are going to say, but lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, you also have fireball. And
most people aren't going to choose lightning bolt over fireball.
Who doesn't pick fireball? Because it's not a straight line, it's a radius effect. It's
a more effective spell in most situations. So Call Lightning, on the other hand, which is on the UA,
but not here.
But not in the Xanathar's Guide or Storm's Coast. Allows you to cast magic as a lightning as a concentration effect. So each round, you would be firing off a bolt of lightning. And each round, this Heart of the Storm ability would be activating. It's really powerful. And so I was trying to think, what else could something similar to this work for? And the only other spell that's on the list that kind of fits this niche, outside of just casting Thunder Wave over and over again, is Witch Bolt, which is a concentration effect and allows you to shoot a beam of lightning damage every round.
D12.
And it's a great spell. I've picked it on many characters. It's nice, especially for a warlock when you don't have a lot of spell slots.
Make the most of that spell slot.
Yeah, concentration effects that deal damage every round. Pretty awesome. So, that's an option. I guess you don't have to have Call Lightning, but it's pretty thematically in there, and I don't know why the Divine Soul can choose any spell they want, but a Storm Sorcerer certainly can't.
Give us back our spells, man. Come on.
So at my table, UA, valid. This UA for this subclass. All right. So then we get a little ribbon ability called Storm Guide, and it's pretty much the same. I think they cleaned up the language a little bit more. It's basically, I can control the weather directly around me. You're like Storm, but like for 20 feet.
Yeah, 20-foot radius.
So
it makes sense, though, because they talk about the Storm Sorcerer as being very useful on ships with sailors. So you can imagine that them controlling the weather on a ship is hugely important. And in fact, the campaign where I played a Storm Sorcerer,
this actually became a thing.
We wound up getting control of a boat, much to our DM's frustrations.
Good.
And so I would control the weather while we sailed the seas to make sure that we didn't hit any trouble.
Yep. Poor Malavir, the former pirate captain.
Let's hold a moment of silence for Malavir, the pirate captain.
Never even got to sit on.
He never got back to his ship.
He got to the
dock.
Was
so close.
He was so close, and then dead. Poor guy.
Dear Malavir.
We'll pour one out for you the next time we drink.
The old Toblerone.
So yeah, ships actually became a major part of that campaign, and we were sailing all over the place. Is not what our DM intended, but that's what happens sometimes when you have players. They do things that you never would have expected.
They do a lot of things you don't expect.
But like in some ways, like you had to have kind of known. It's like, oh, she's gonna play a Storm Sorcerer. She's probably gonna want to use these abilities. Oh, where do these abilities work?
Oh, they're on a boat.
I'm on a boat. All right.
So it doesn't look as powerful as that really could be.
I mean, it's a nice ability. It's good. It became important for us, but I don't think it's going to come up at a lot of tables.
Not as powerful as Empowered Healing.
No, it's not.
But moving on. I don't hold a grudge,
or Hound
really.
of Illumin, really.
Man,
right.
I'd love a Thunder Pup. That'd be so cute.
Be
I don't
so
know how
cool.
it would work, but it'd be so cute.
Or a little Pikachu running around with you.
Oh, that'd be super cute.
Or Voltion, or whatever. Voltron. Not Voltron.
That's not Voltron. Voltion.
Yeah, Voltion.
Come on, know your Pokemon.
Yeah. All right, so at 14th level, we get something called Storm's Fury. And it's the same in the Unearthed Arcanas as it is in Xanathar's and Sword Coast.
They just cleaned up the language a little bit.
And once again, it's kind of that same idea of Heart of the Storm, where you have magic kind of just erupting off of you and hitting people. So when you're hit by a melee attack, you can use your reaction to deal lightning damage to the attacker. The damage equals your sorcerer level. The attacker must also make a strength saving throw against your sorcerer spell save DC. On a failed save, the attacker is pushed in a straight line up to 20 feet away from you.
So it's kind of like a less useful version of Hellish Rebuke, except that it pushes them away.
Which is nice. Like, mechanically, it's really advantageous. Because it creates space, and a sorcerer's going to need that space. But it also kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why does lightning push them away? Like, wouldn't lightning, like, make them fall prone?
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Mechanically, it makes sense. Thematically, it's a little wonky, but that's okay. Being knocked prone is pretty powerful. Pushing them away, they're still fully capable of doing everything they were going to do, but 20 feet away. And most creatures can move more than 20 feet in a round. So, it's nice. It's not super powerful. I mean, let's see. What do we got for our... Oh, yeah. So, if you're a Divine Soul, you get wings. They can fly at 14th level. Oh, but wait! We have an 18th level ability for a Storm Sorcerer, so it has to be better than wings that are indefinite and forever, right?
Nope, you get wings for an hour. For an hour! Now, I will say, the nice thing about this is that you can choose 3... Wait, how many?
3 plus your Charisma modifier.
So you can choose other members of your party to fly, too.
Potentially a very large party.
But
some
it's still...
NPCs.
For 1 hour. I don't like that.
I want to say the Storm Cleric gets flight indefinite as well for their capstone. Because that's always been a class that I've been interested in trying, was that Storm Cleric. Because Thor.
Yep. So again, it doesn't feel as strong as the Divine Soul does.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't seem as strong as the Shadow Sorcerer to me either.
Yeah. Honestly, they did it a disservice by taking away the extra magic. That's where the true abilities and beauty came from the spell.
There's a good list. There's some good spells on there.
Yeah, that you would get at these levels.
That are thematic.
And that are not on the sorcerer's list.
Well, some of them are.
For the most part.
But, like, I mean, sorcerers do not get a ton of spells. And so, having more spells that they can get, let me see. Are these automatically known?
I believe so. They do not count against the number of spells that you know.
So this is actually like really pretty powerful because not everyone's going to choose Gust of Wind or Levitate or Sleet Storm or Ice Storm. Like, these are all really useful spells, but they're also situational, and so, like, you can learn these spells, and you're stuck with them for a whole level, and it never come up, and you're just like, oh, I made a terrible decision. Then you change it out, and then the very next game, that situation comes up, you're like, oh, God, I'm such a fool.
But it makes sense that if you're a Storm Sorcerer that you already know these spells innately.
You kind of know the storm.
They shouldn't have taken it away from the class.
I mean, I even like that they threw in, like, these little, like, conditional things for, like, conjure minor elementals where you can only summon smoke methods, steam methods, or ice methods.
Or dust
methods with it. So it's just like,
unless you gain it from another source.
You got the spell, but here's a little restriction. Like, that's fine. That
makes sense.
That's good. Conjure elemental, you can only summon an air elemental. Like, that's nice, because then you're not, like, stepping on the shoes of the druid who's just like, fire, earth,
water,
air,
it makes it more specified to
combined.
the class that you're playing, and that's what's really nice about it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I still love the Storm Sorcerer. It thematically hits all the right things for me. It just kind of pales in comparison to this favored divine soul.
And the shadow.
I'm really interested in trying a shadow, especially half-orc. I love the half-orcs. Mm-hmm. They are so cool.
They don't get enough love.
They don't. Whenever you see...
love half-orc.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about half-orc paladins or half-orc barbarians or half-orc fighters. We've seen them.
Break the stereotype.
Can we get, like, a half-orc rogue?
That'd be pretty cool.
A half-orc wizard? I mean, there are options. Half-orc monk?
Sorcerer.
Maybe he is a half-orc in sync with his inner being. It's like, I don't feel the blood fury of one-eyed Gromish. I am centered with myself. Like, that's more interesting to me than I'm angry.
Hit good.
I hit things. I hit good. I big dumb orc. Like,
we've had enough big dumb orcs.
I've seen it over and over and over. And it works at the table because orcs, barbarians, like orcs, paladins, they just wreck things. But I don't care about how great it is at the table. I want story. Story.
Well, and when you play, you're trying to be different anyway. You're telling your story. So why not try to tell a different story that has been told already?
Yeah. That's good. I like that. All right, so that's been our little in-depth review of
the Sorcerers
in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. We are Phoenix Down
RPG,
and thanks for watching.
We'll be back soon with more look at spells and other fun things from this beautiful book.
Yep. Like and follow us on YouTube, Facebook,
Twitter,
Instagram. We're always trying to put out more stuff. If there's something you want us to discuss in Xanathar's, let us know. Tweet at us, comment on the video below. If you want to check us out playing D&D, we do have a game called Dragon Ballad.
I am the DM.
She DMs it, and I edit the video and add music and special effects. And
because we are all musicians, both classical and hip-hop.
It's really entertaining. So, watch it. Take a look and let us know what you think. And, yeah, links in the doobly-doo.
See you next time.
Peace.